give us the highlight of your year? I think I know what you're going to say. I think it's going to involve a bag of McDonald's or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. I was thinking much worse. Oh, and welcome to the Security Breakdown.
Hello.
I'm Jack.
I'm Matt.
And we're going to talk about security and stuff.
But first, we would like to thank our sponsors, Skills for Security, the UK's leading provider of training to apprentices in the security industry. Training, I think, over 1,000 a year at the moment. So incredible skills for skills.
Yeah, which is great because, frankly, we need good engineers.
Yeah, there was a skills shortage, wasn't there? I heard that there was a skills gap of 30,000 engineers in the, well, not a skills gap, a resource gap. That's a lot. It's a lot.
That's the whole industry. There's just one guy left. Who's
that's right, Jeff.
My name is Jeff. Come on, I haven't got time. I've got 1,800 jobs to get to today. So Skills Security, sponsoring the podcast, really great bunch of guys doing loads of really good work with new engineers and apprentices.
Yeah, they were here yesterday, weren't they?
They were here yesterday.
They brought us treats. We like them.
The biggest hamper I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was incredible. Anyway, what are we talking about today, Matt?
Well, you told me a minute ago, and now you're expecting me to remember. Yeah.
So it's the end of the year, so we're going to talk a little bit about the end of the year. You know, what we've been doing for 2024.
Seems reasonable.
What's going to be going on in 2025. And we're going to try and get some nuggets of knowledge out of Matt, because he's been around.
Old. What are you trying to say? I'm old.
Okay. So firstly, you've been at Smokescreen for what, 20,000 years?
20,000 years. 25,000 years.
What would you say is your favorite ever thing that's ever happened, like with a smoke machine?
I think when I'm sort of dredging my memory for stories, there's a load of stories, but the one that I go back to, I don't know why, is we had a colleague in sales who was doing a demonstration at a post office. And as you know, most post offices, the postmasters live actually within the premises, so they're typically above. And he was in their place of residence above the post office, and he did the demonstration and couldn't see, which is normal, and took a step backwards directly into their dog's water bowl, which stuck to his foot. And then he sort of clamped around the place with this dog's water bowl stuck to his foot. That's one of my favourites. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much, but it never fails to bring a smile.
I can't help but think that you have so much detail of an event that happened.
It was not me.
Completely hidden by smoke. It must have been.
No, he told me when he got back.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone that's demoed fog at some point or other will have a story like that. Mine are way, way worse than a dog bowl stuck to your foot.
I tripped over the fog machine cable doing a demo.
Trip hazard. Should have done a risk assessment.
I hadn't even set it off. And I was just standing and I tripped over. Yeah, I don't know how you stand over, stand still and trip, but I do it. So levels. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good story. I've not heard that one before.
Have you not?
No, I've not heard the dog bowl gate.
You've heard the other ones about evacuating police training academies, hotels. Yeah.
I've done all of those things.
Yeah, smoke gate was,
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
No.
It still makes me shudder today.
All right, let's be a bit more reflective.
Okay.
And start as we mean to go on. So over the last 12 months of Smokescreen, which is almost exactly as long as I've been here.
What, on this planet?
Relative to your
advanced years.
What's been going on? What do you think's the best thing that's happened?
I think something that's really cool from my perspective is we've expanded the team and are looking to expand it further. We've got people into the business, people like yourself, people like Scott, our marketing legend. And
right now his head is just...
who are really complementing the existing members of the team, really fitting in and adding to what we can do. So I think our outreach on social media has been quite cool to watch. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're a bit kind of scattergun and just we say everything all of the time.
Yeah,
but I think
we're working on it.
Yes, but I think I can see the signs of some really good stuff. Also, the R&D team getting the products through that they are. I think we can all say we can see real steps forward, particularly in the software that we're developing and the little bits of hardware that enable those software offerings to be real.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've actually got them out deployed in the field with, somebody told me like 3,000 machines connected or something like that. It was some
it's
number
not quite
that took
that
me
many,
by surprise anyway.
It's 4 digits, I think.
Yeah, I think we were all like, oh, we've only just started doing it and there's 1,000 machines connected. How's that happened? Or whatever the number was. Yeah, so well, that's pretty good, yeah.
I don't really have a frame of reference for what it was like before I was here, so I don't know.
It was a dark place.
I can imagine.
Full of fear and misery.
It was just Jeff there.
Just my name's Jeff. No, it wasn't like that. It was pretty good. Then you showed up, made my life endlessly irritated.
Yeah,
and,
I do that.
Yeah, you do.
That's why you hired me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think even over the last few months, I've seen a marked improvement in, like, it feels like there's more forward motion.
Yeah, more output.
There's like some things happen. Like I came in and we were just like, look, fog machines. Go on.
Get on.
And now it's like, look, fog machines and all this other stuff and podcast and videos and
yeah, it's a funny thing,
everything.
Isn't it? Because the needle point of delivery probably doesn't pay homage, if you like, to the long length of the needle that goes before it. And then everything all seems to happen at once. Everything all seems to come together.
Yeah, yeah.
Because stuff can, whether it's what you've experienced with us here or stuff we've done previously, development is a torturous path, fraught with things that you think are going to work and then they don't quite happen as you'd expect them to. So you have to rethink and redo. Reiterate, but then as things come together and you hit on it and you go, we've got it right.
Yeah, we've done something.
It all just seems to happen at once.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you could attribute it to not attribute. You could liken it to like a river. We have all these little tributaries.
Oh
they
yeah,
all come in and you just think, well, that's not going to do anything. There's just a little trickle from a stream somewhere. But then at some point they all converge and you get
form a deluge.
Yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I like it.
So what about you over your year? Because I know you've not got a frame of reference to compare it to before other than your previous workspaces. But give us the highlight of your year.
I
think I know what you're going to say. I think it's going to involve a bag of McDonald's or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. I was thinking much worse, which was just like every Friday afternoon, just going home.
Oh, that is dreadful.
Yeah, sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad.
I think maybe the events have been a highlight, and I think for me, actually, this stuff is the thing that I like doing the most, like being able to create things and make videos and make whatever.
Well, it's what your education was, your higher education.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's weirdly feels like I'm coming home a bit, and the security industry completely feels alien to me. And I'm just like, why am I here? What am I doing? And all these years I've been in the industry, just like, I don't know how I got to this point. And now it's like I'm doing something in the industry that actually makes
use of your skill set.
Yeah, and it feels like it's worth me being there, which is good.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that because you've definitely made a big difference to the content that we produce. So it's been pretty good. That good. Just in that reflective mood, though. I was talking to my wife the other day and remembering when we went to the security event and the hotel prices were insane. I was like, we're not doing that. And we booked an Airbnb and it was the most comical Airbnb of all time. It got like weird alien wallpaper and a tiny little pool table.
Yeah, the wallpaper looked like it was made out of giant lips.
Yeah, that's right. And it was kind of a peculiar situation where there's me, you, and Scott, sharing a weird smokescreen Walton's living experience.
Yeah, you could have made an entire sketch comedy show.
I know, yeah,
It
it's
was
bizarre.
really odd. Yeah.
Yeah, and in probably not the nicest area in Birmingham, really. But it worked. We
Didn't die.
We didn't die. Nobody died. No, that's
Not
right.
yet, anyway.
Not as far as we know.
We don't know the long-term effects of that
That wallpaper.
wallpaper. Good. Yeah, it's been a big, long year. I'm exhausted. I had a thought the other day that if I've done 1 year, that means I have to do another one. I don't know if I've got the energy for another whole year's worth.
You just get used to it. Be all right.
Yeah,
You'll be
that's what
fine.
people say.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I imagine things like, you know, when you hurt yourself, if you got like a bad elbow or something.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think,
Where's this going?
sometimes it gets better. You're like, oh, it's better now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think you just forget that it hurts.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And then just eventually you die.
So you're like the boiling frog. That's what you say.
think-
You've not noticed the temperatures going up and up and up.
No, I mean, like all of this energy that gets expended eventually is just going to like.
Yeah, but you're young. You'll be fine.
I'm not forever.
You've still got hair.
For now.
For now.
You don't know the long-term effects of
I do.
smoke.
This is what happens. Your hair all falls out.
Anyway, that's ridiculous. Okay, so we've talked about this year. What about next year? I know what we're doing. I don't know why I'm asking you, because I know, but they might not know.
No.
What are we doing? What's happening?
I think like being a little less flippant about this year, what we have done is, and we've talked a little bit about it, but we've developed out our software platform, which is all about providing visibility of the fog generators that we supply to the market to the people that are using them. Often when people are talking to us, we're actually the last people you want to be talking to, because you've tried everything and you've still got problems. And that's not to say that all the things that you've tried before are without value. It's just that the problems that we can help with or solve are complex and involve a number of different things. So when you buy into a fog generator type system, and then you get success in defending against the types of problems that we can solve, all of a sudden the availability of the equipment becomes critical. So you want to know that it's going to go off when you want it to go off. You want to know it's got no technical faults, it's got fluid, it's got everything it needs to provide you with the success that you're looking for. And so all of this year we've been, and last year, and what feels like forever, we've been developing out the software to a point where we can release it and give instant visibility of our generators to the clients that are using them and their maintainers and their installers. And it's going to be pursuing that rationale further. So we want to develop out our software, diversify it a bit. We've got interesting things on the horizon with additional ancillary kit that can go into the software. And we believe that there is a case for providing additional services, not just the supply of fog generators, but the management of those. And I don't want to talk too much about it until we get our marketing straight.
You don't want to talk too much about it until you've figured out what that even means.
No, I know exactly what it means. We've talked, and you know what it means. We've talked about it at length, yeah. But I think the key for us next year is going to be in developing out on that platform, not just the platform, but the services that we're able to offer. There's a huge amount of experience in this business because the business has been around for over 3 decades, and I believe we've got a very good feel of what can help people. And this business is all about trying to be helpful and trying to remove situations that we don't believe should exist in the first place, whether that is by engaging with events like Fight Back, which we're a key member of, whether that's by engaging with organisations that try to stop crime before it even becomes an issue, or whether that's by delivery of what we do. So it's more of we're building on what we know, I think.
Do you think that's a change in the industry as a whole? Do you think that that's something you can see coming in a lot of different directions where people are starting to realise that it's a collaborative effort?
Yeah, 100%. I think so, yeah. I think we've all heard the kind of rhetoric where it's like, well, the police never get there in time and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of these attacks, how could anybody get there in time? Unless they're around the corner, it's impossible. And then it's like, well, retailers, for instance, should do more to defend themselves. And it's like, well, perhaps they shouldn't have to defend themselves in the first place. The supply chain needs to be more, how do you say the word? Innovative.
Innovative.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
So,
It's only taken 6 months.
well, I think it's taken more like
is
48
long.
years
But you didn't know before
that I was saying it wrong.
until you, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's 48 years of like ingrained behaviour we're trying to overcome.
That's a hippo problem, that is.
Highest paid person's opinion.
Yeah, it's your
How is
opinion.
that a hippo?
Because nobody was brave enough to correct you.
What? Oh my God.
That's the problem with the security industry.
People are scared of me.
But no, not specifically you. But people are afraid of saying that somebody's wrong.
They don't want to speak truth to power.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's fairly easy to speak the truth to me, generally speaking. I think so.
For me, it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm basing it on. You say whatever you feel like. I mean, you did it on LinkedIn the other day. You called me a bad smell. That did happen.
That was a joke.
I know. I knew that.
Yeah.
I was aware of it.
And not only was it a joke,
And
it was
you linked
also
it about the fog.
Yeah, it was a
very
brilliant
clever.
joke,
Yeah.
not just a joke.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. You were asking me, is it something that we see growing, the collaborative approach?
Yeah.
And I think so, yeah. I think there's a general... But I think partly it's driven by just the scale of the problems that we're seeing. Obviously, everyone that doesn't want that problem to exist has to work together in order to...
Yeah, and we've talked about it before on other episodes where it feels like, and actually doesn't even just feel like, it actually is statistically shown that, things like shoplifting and crime are getting worse.
Yeah.
And that is a problem that's going to go on and on and on unless something gets done about it. And the security industry has to be at the forefront of that. And if it's getting worse, that means that what we already do doesn't work.
Yeah.
And, we're not going to get any further doing the same thing. We have to find some different way of doing it. And we have to, I think as a company, Smokescreen, we need to be vocal and visible talking about that as a thing, just to bring all the stragglers along.
I think that's the value that we add as part of the supply chain is that we work across different vertical markets. So we'll see, and similarly, criminals work across different vertical markets. They don't just limit themselves to one. They don't just specialise in one kind of
I only
crime.
steal from Halifax banks.
So that's right. Yeah. Which, do they even still exist?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, fine.
I hope so.
Right, okay. You bank with them?
Yeah.
Right, fine. I'll let you take that one.
That'd be awkward.
Yeah. And I think because of that, we can be vocal and say, well, we've seen this happen in this place. You ought to know about it. If you're not experiencing it, then it could happen to you. But also, we've got we see all the different initiatives and collaborations that are happening. So Fight Back is one, but there's another one called ARCAG. There's the operation that I can't remember now, where the police and the retailers work together and they're trying to find funding to fund police specific to certain areas where there's known risk to try and increase the presence there. And then you'll see various people who work in academia as well who are engaged in trying to really drill down to what the root causes of crime are, because that sort of information then helps you.
That one's easy. The root cause of crime?
People.
Criminals.
There was a really interesting one talking to some people that we were working with in the Department of Criminology at Lincoln University, and I had no idea. And it was pointed out to me that if you live close to a source of lead, you are significantly more likely to develop violent predilections just because you live near lead. And it's like, well, what?
I guess at some point you have no chance at all, right? You're just screwed.
In the wrong place,
wrong
just
place,
because
wrong
you
time.
are there.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. And they used to paint toys with lead.
I know. And I was
used to lick
alive
'em.
then.
Yeah.
I used to chew the paint off the handlebars of my bike, and look at me, I'm not...
I think there's probably a lot of that kind of thing. And we probably don't know to the extent of what those effects would have on us. What if one day we find out that living in a atmosphere that is mostly made of nitrogen all turns us into crazy lunatic criminals, right? And it's like Superman and kryptonite. Like if we lived on a different planet, it would be totally different.
Yeah, what if?
Yeah.
What if that happens?
I don't know where I was going with that.
It has been a long year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps getting longer.
Nearly there, though.
It's a
Nearly
leap
there.
year this year, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Statistically,
We get an extra day.
it's the longest of years.
This year coming?
No, this year, right now.
Oh, right. So we had 366 days.
Not yet.
But we will have had.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That passed me by.
You don't remember? We had a 29th of February.
I don't remember it.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, that's nonsense.
Yeah. This is not adding to our podcast, I don't think.
No, I don't know if any of this did, but it's December, so it's Christmas, so
Yeah, we
don't care.
No.
Not bothered.
I think for next year, because we set out with a specific purpose for this podcast, which was to talk about challenging issues. And I think we kind of did, but I don't think we got to where we'd like to get to. I think we really want to delve into stuff that is difficult.
Well, this
to
will
talk
be
about.
the 7th episode.
Right.
So that's not many.
It's not many, no.
Yeah.
I think we've made a start.
This is basically practice.
Yeah, that's right. We're just assuming nobody's going to watch any of these.
Yeah. I can say whatever I want.
Within reason.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
But I can't even remember what we're talking about. Yes, there is a future and it will be different to the past.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah.
Right, let's close off. I've got one more question that I've written down to ask you as a veteran of the industry. If you could give...
It's a good job I've got a sense of humour.
If you were going to die tomorrow, right, what would be the final and only piece of advice that you would give to a security professional like at your level?
It depends on what you mean by security professional. If you mean someone who works within the supply chain,
Yep.
it would be don't focus on your solution, focus on your client's problems and try and help them solve them. Simple as that. You know, it's not about what you sell, it's about what people need, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
And if you can't help someone, be honest with them and try and find someone that will help them.
I think that applies to anybody.
I think so, yeah. But
You could look at it from the perspective of, a loss prevention manager, and they're selling a product into their own business,
true,
right?
yeah.
So they go out, find a smoke screen, find whatever.
yeah,
And then they have to sell it back and say, this is going to help us.
yeah.
Don't just sell products that you don't think are going to help
Yeah.
just for the sake of it. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. And I think, I think it does work. I think it works across all the areas. Yeah,
It probably would work just about anywhere as well.
I think for a loss prevention professional who is on the buying side of things, I would give the advice that, and I'm sure, I'm just going to pretend this fictional loss prevention person is brand new and doesn't has just entered the industry, doesn't know anything. I would give the advice that the problems have to be viewed holistically, and that goes all the way through the solutions as well. So there is no panacea, there's no silver bullet, and everything should work in concert. And to a degree, loss prevention professionals should understand the equipment or the solution to a relatively technical and operational level, so that there can be some certainty that the guidance that they're getting is good guidance. Yeah.
So they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they know, they can understand what they're being told.
Yeah.
Whether that's
What's likely
good
to work,
advice or bad advice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So dive deep.
Yeah.
I got a good, I'm so far so good book while I was in South Africa last week. And I need to give a shout out actually to Jaco Peterson, who kindly gave me a signed copy of the book. I'm just going to grab it actually. Somewhere over here.
What is this? Book time?
Yeah,
Book club.
time. Here is the book. A Guide to Loss Prevention in South Africa, which hides my face quite handily. So Jacko's worked at one of the major health and beauty retailers in South Africa, and obviously South Africa's a very interesting landscape from a security perspective because it's faced with a number of challenges.
As we would have heard about in another episode.
So I have started getting into the book, and it certainly is interesting. And I was gratified to see that security fog actually features. That's probably bleached out on the camera. But Jacko's obviously got some experience with that. But that's amongst a number of different solutions that are recommended, approaches. But back on the question you asked me, which was about advice, another thing I'd add in is data is probably the most important thing that I think could be improved in the future. So whether that is from suppliers, from people who are at the sharp end of the stick, who are facing problems with crime, gathering good, clean data consistently over years is probably the biggest area that this industry could improve in going into the future.
So what you've done there, Matt, is I asked you for one single piece of advice and we got 3.
Yeah.
So thanks.
That's all right.
For disrespecting my
But if I'm dying tomorrow, I've got to impart a lot of stuff fast.
If you're dying tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of podcasts made between now and tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Well, that takes us to the end of our questions. So I think that's probably enough talking for one day. Thank you all for watching or listening or whatever you do. We've had a good year and we're going to have another good year next year. So join us for that. Make sure that if you've got any advice for your security professionals or anything like that, then leave it in the comments, because it would be great to see what other people's perspective is on, what we should be doing in the future and what we should be focusing on and what 100%. The industry should be focusing on, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you summed up quite well then. Hit us up in the comments.
Bye.